This is a brief tutorial on using the building wizard in WUFI Passive. In WUFI Passive, you have many options on how to import or how to create the geometry for your project file. The building wizard is one option you may use for simple buildings. Other options are the SketchUp import or GBXML import, which will be covered in different tutorials. In an empty WUFI Passive file in the building branch, the top button here is for the building wizard. When you open the building wizard, you see you have different options for different floor layouts, different options for roof configurations, and different options for floor connections or connections with the building and the ground. The different dimensions of the different facades shown here are entered below. So if I had multiple, if I had an L-shaped building, I would select the dimensions for D1 here, let's say it's 10 feet, D2 is 15, D3 might be 5 feet, and D4 might be 35 feet. The story height is the height from floor to floor. So let's say this is 9 feet. And the first floor height, let's say if potentially is commercial space, if this is a high rise, or if it's different than the rest, you can identify the first floor height being different than the rest. And then the number of stories is entered here. The roof geometry, now you get to select if it is a heated attic versus unheated attic versus a vented flat roof, unvented flat roof, going down the line here. And then the bottom one is if you may be modeling a unit with heated space above it that's not part of the thermal boundary. So you can see kind of here they're showing the red lines as the thermal boundary. So this would be a heated attic, and then here the thermal boundary red line is cut off before the attic. So it would be a vented attic condition, etc. So in this case, let's say we have a vented attic condition. You need to now say the height of the heel here, say is 2 feet. The inclination of the roof, 40 degrees is fine. Does it have gable ends? And then if it does, what is that overhang here? So we'll say it's 3 feet. That's what you do for the roof. So these are the different options for the roof. For the floor, now you get to select, is there an unheated basement? Similarly to the roof, you can see this red is indicated with a thermal boundary. Here, yellow is the conditioned space, white is the unconditioned space. So here's an unconditioned basement. Here's a conditioned basement below that. Then you have a slab on grade condition, and then similarly to the roof, if you're modeling a single unit with heated space below, but it's not part of what you're modeling, you would select the bottom option here. So I'm going to select slab on grade. Now you get to pick the orientation of the main facade. You can see up in the main plan here, there's a main facade indicated here. So if that is facing south, then I would keep this at south, but let's say that's facing east. Now I will have this facade indicated by D1 and D2 facing east. You can also pick it facing any direction if it's not the exact cardinal directions. You also here can group different components. So this now would group all of my wall components or all of my floor components if there were multiple. And then it also divides into stories. You don't necessarily need to do that, but you can. And then you select OK. And now you can see it has created my building for me. So this was D1, D2, D3, and D4 here. So you'll notice there are no windows when you do this, so you do need to add windows separately. So now you can do this by selecting either the 3D editor button here, or you can pop out this bottom corner screen at any time using this expand shrink window. So I'll click 3D editor. And now to add windows to each facade, you click on the facade you'd like to add windows to, go to the left, select windows and openings, and then at the top you can either select new and create a new window one by one. When you see this, you see the X and Y are the positions on the X axis down here and on the Y axis here on the left hand side. So let's say I would like it at 4 on the X axis and 12 on the Y-axis. And then the width of my window, I'm going to say is 3 foot by 3 foot let's say 3 by 5 window, and now my window appears here. You can also simply click and drag to move the placement of this window. I can also click on the window, copy it. So if I wanted, let's say 4 more windows, each of them a foot apart. Oop. Let's try that again. I need to move it at least 3 feet because it's 3 feet wide. So 4 feet in the X direction from the left-hand corner, 4 feet in the X direction, and I want 4 of them. I now have 4 more windows. All of them are 1 foot apart, 3 by 5 windows here. Again, I can drag and drop, so if this is not the exact layout, I can change that. And then the other way to do this is to click the Edit List button here in the top left. This will show you all of the different openings you have, the width and height of those windows, as well as their placement on the X and Y axis, and you can change any of them over here. So here's where I would change my placement of my windows. As you click through this list, you can see below different windows are being highlighted, so that indicates which window it is in case that is not clear. So if I'd like to move this bottom right hand window to X on the 24 axis, and I want to make it 6 feet wide instead of 3 feet wide, I can do that simply by indicating that in the Change To section. And now I have a 6 foot wide window that starts at the X24. You would need to do this for all of your windows in order to use the building wizard to bring in a project. Now I have windows on this facade, which in this case, over on the left-hand side, I can look at the orientation. We indicated this was the main facade. Or no, we indicated this facade was south and the main facade was east over here. It's shown as east main facade.